Have you ever met someone in their late 70s who seems calm, steady, almost unshakable, and then met someone the same age who looks worn down by life? I used to think it was luck. I was wrong. My name is Thomas Caldwell. I'm 81 years old, and I live just outside Boise, Idaho, where the winters are sharp, the summers are dry, and the mornings are quiet enough to hear your own thoughts before the world wakes up. From the outside, my life looks peaceful. Small brick home, a pickup in the driveway, a coffee mug that's been chipped for 15 years but still gets used every morning without fail. It's the kind of life people assume automatically comes with calm and contentment. But here's what I didn't understand when I turned 70. Peace doesn't arrive with age just because you've survived long enough to earn it. It has to be protected with intention, guarded with discipline. And I almost lost mine because of habits I didn't even realize were quietly draining it day after day, when rest turns into decline. When I retired from my job as a regional sales manager, I told myself I had earned rest after decades of deadlines and airport terminals. For years, my life ran on tight schedules, conference rooms, and constant travel across the country. So when that pressure disappeared, I leaned hard into comfort. Long mornings in my recliner, news humming in the background. I'll walk tomorrow, I'd say, convincing myself there was no urgency anymore. Tomorrow came and went more times than I can count. Before long, weeks had slipped by without me moving with purpose. Within a year, my knees stiffened. My balance felt slightly off. I got winded carrying groceries from the car to the kitchen. It didn't happen overnight. That's what makes it dangerous. Decline after 70 is quiet and almost polite in the way it arrives. My neighbor, Bill Anderson, who's 84, still walks every morning before sunrise, even when the Idaho air bites at your lungs. One day he told me, "If you stop moving, your world shrinks." He said it casually, but it landed heavily. He wasn't talking about exercise. He was talking about freedom. The freedom to stand up without pain, to drive yourself where you need to go, to live without asking for help too soon. After 70, gentle movement isn't about staying young. It's about staying independent. 10 minutes around the block, light stretching before bed, yard work instead of sitting through another anxiety-inducing news cycle. Movement protects your body, and your body protects your peace in ways you only appreciate once it starts slipping away. When the mind starts to fade. But physical habits weren't the only thing stealing from me. Something quieter was happening inside my head. Mental complacency crept in too, and it did so without making noise. Have you ever realized you haven't learned anything new in months? That your conversations sound recycled? That your curiosity is dimmed without you noticing it happen? I noticed it when my granddaughter Emma asked me how Wi-Fi worked, and I couldn't even explain the basics. I laughed it off, but inside I felt something shrink. I had stopped challenging my brain. Retirement had slowly turned into disengagement. Then I met Sharon Mitchell at the public library. She was 86 and teaching herself Italian from an old workbook and online videos. I asked her why she'd bother at that age. She said, "Because I don't plan on fading quietly." There was strength in her voice that I admired. That line stayed with me for weeks. The brain doesn't fail because of birthdays. It weakens when ignored. I started reading again, biographies, history, anything that required focus. I began journaling every morning, even if it was just a single page. I even signed up for a community photography class. Slowly, my confidence returned, and I felt sharper than I had in years. And confidence restores peace in ways that are hard to explain, but easy to feel. The weight of unforgiveness. But if I'm honest, the habit that cost me the most peace wasn't physical or mental. It was emotional. For years, I carried resentment toward my younger brother Daniel over an inheritance disagreement after our father passed away. We both said things we shouldn't have. Pride took over. We stopped talking and silence became the norm. Tell me something. What does holding on to anger actually improve? What does it fix in the long run? Nothing at all. But it drains you slowly. It drains your sleep. It drains your joy. It drains the lightness out of ordinary days. At 78, I heard Daniel had undergone heart surgery. For the first time, I imagined losing him without fixing things. That thought cut through my pride immediately. Forgiveness didn't mean I agreed with him. It meant I valued peace more than ego. We met for coffee. It was awkward at first, but then we found our rhythm again. I nearly let stubbornness steal years I can never get back. The trap of isolation. Isolation is another habit that quietly destroys peace after 70, and it often disguises itself as independence. After my wife passed away, I told everyone I needed space to adjust. What I really did was withdraw. I stopped going to church regularly, stopped accepting invitations, stopped calling friends just to check in. Loneliness doesn't hit like a storm. It settles like dust and thickens over time. It was my neighbor, Carla Jennings, who pulled me back. She knocked one afternoon and said, "We're having burgers. You're coming." No debate, no drama, just insistence. That dinner reminded me of something simple. After 70, relationships are not optional luxuries. They are protection against emotional decline. The body keeps score. Nutrition was another blind spot for me. I ate whatever was easy. Frozen dinners, too much red meat, more coffee than water. I told myself, I've earned this, as if comfort excused neglect and aging gave me a free pass. But my body disagreed. My blood pressure climbed. My energy dipped in the afternoons. I felt heavier in ways that had nothing to do with weight. My doctor didn't lecture me. He simply said, "Your body doesn't recover the way it used to." His tone was calm, but the message was clear. That sentence forced me to pay attention. It made me realize that surviving isn't the same as thriving, especially at this age. I didn't overhaul everything overnight. I just became intentional. More vegetables, lean protein, less sugar, more water, smaller portions in the evening. Small changes compound, especially at this stage of life, and those small changes quietly restored strength I didn't realize I was losing. The importance of rest. Then there was sleep, which I underestimated for far too long, treating it like something optional instead of essential. I figured I could push through fatigue the way I used to in my 40s. For years I fell asleep with the television on, late night commentary that kept my mind racing long after my eyes closed. I told myself I was staying informed and connected. In reality, I was feeding anxiety before bed, carrying arguments and headlines into my dream. Poor sleep made me irritable, short-tempered, foggy during the day. Even small problems felt bigger than they were. Once I created a simple routine: no screens, consistent hours, dark and quiet room. My mood shifted noticeably. Rest protects peace more than most people realize. Letting go to make space. And then there's clinging to old possessions, old grudges, old versions of yourself that no longer fit who you are. My garage was packed with tools I hadn't touched in 20 years, boxes labeled important that were anything but. Every item felt like a memory I was afraid to release. Letting go felt like admitting time had passed. But once I cleared the clutter and simplified my space, I felt lighter, less weighed down by invisible weight. Peace grows in space, and space invites clarity. The lesson I learned too late. Here's the biggest lesson I've learned at 81. After 70, life doesn't fall apart all at once. It erodes slowly through habits you don't question. Neglect compounds. Bitterness compounds. Isolation compounds over time. But so does kindness. So does movement. So does gratitude practiced daily. Peace is not automatic. It's guarded with small choices made consistently. If you're over 70, ask yourself tonight, which habit is quietly stealing from me? And if you're younger, listen carefully, because these patterns start forming long before 70. The years move quietly. Independence fades gradually. Relationships drift if untended. But peace, real peace, is still within reach. If this story felt familiar, if it reminded you of someone you love, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. Share it with someone who needs to hear it before it's too late. Because protecting your peace after 70 isn't about adding more years to your life. It's about adding more life to the years you still have.